Hare Krishna. Question from Ankur Prabhu. I conduct a Bhagavad Gita course in America in Iowa University, and there to encourage the participants who are all intellectuals, they are PhDs and others, to study the Bhagavad Gita carefully, we go through the translations, and sometimes they bring other Bhagavad Gitas which they feel that which translate the Bhagavad Gita literally, whereas Prabhupada gives often a devotional translation, bringing Krishna everywhere. Now, you have explained how Prabhupada's strategy was to give the conclusion throughout the Gita so that people will not miss it, even if they read it, even if they read only a part of it. But for people who want to study the Bhagavad Gita systematically, how can we get them to appreciate the Bhaktivedanta purports? Because they sometimes want to go along the flow of the Gita, and they feel that Prabhupada is translating everything in Bhakti terms. So, is Prabhupada's Gita not suitable for such intensive study of the Bhagavad Gita? And how can we get them to get such people also to appreciate Bhaktivedanta purports? And how should we study the Gita in discuss the Gita in such situations? Answer: there is the principle of adjusting according to time, place, circumstance. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, for example, in his preaching, used the book Sri Krishna Chaitanya. He did not use Chaitanya Charitamrita. He used his thrust of his preaching was Lord Chaitanya and his teachings. So, Sri Krishna Chaitanya was a book which his disciple Nishikant Sanyal wrote. Actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur himself worked on the book also, and he edited the book exhaustively. But in order for it to have respectability in the Western audience, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur had the book authored and published by his disciple Nishikant Sanyal, who was a respectable professor in a college at that time, Ravenshaw College. So he used that book as a strategy for preaching, as a central thrust for preaching. Srila Prabhupada used Bhagavad Gita as it is, as the central thrust of his outreach. So now, when time, place, circumstance change, different kinds of books may be required. So these are bridge books which help people to come to Krishna to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. So if people are interested in a serious study of the Gita, and if they feel that Prabhupada's commentaries, translations and commentaries are unduly devotional, then we can use other renditions of the Gita which are done by Srila Prabhupada's disciples. We have, for example, Yogeshwar Prabhu, who has translated the Bhagavad Gita. Professor Joshua Green, he has done a translation of the Gita. Similarly, Ranchor Prime is another devotee, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, who has done a translation of the Gita. We can use such translations, and the point is, wherever the classes are held, indirectly ISKCON forums, if it's ISKCON temple or it's ISKCON premises, then the classes should be held on Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, if it's a direct Bhagavad Gita class. But at other places, according to time, place, circumstance, the adjustment is perfectly okay. We are not replacing Srila Prabhupada's Gita. We are rather extending the Gita's reach, the Gita's message and its reach to those who would be otherwise having some reservations about it. So a literal translation may not always give the essential meaning, and that's why Prabhupada, when he gives the essential meaning, he is fulfilling the purpose of the Gita. He's not countering its message. But people who want to go in the literal flow, verse by verse flow of the Gita, then yes, we can use. It's best to use translations within the tradition for this purpose, for the purpose of studying the Gita, but that also can be adjusted according to time, place, circumstance. The important point is that if we are going to use some other translations, we ourselves have to be very carefully, we have to have very carefully studied the Gita, because once we go into the zone of multiple translations and multiple commentaries, then we open ourselves to many different kinds of questions, and we have to often counter various kinds of speculative conceptions that may come up. So, by taking the guidance of senior devotees wherever we are, and appropriately presenting the message so that people can come close to Krishna, that is perfectly okay. We may just sometimes decide that we'll just use the Sanskrit itself and not use any translations at all, and literally translate the words ourselves if we have adequate knowledge of Sanskrit, and if we feel that other people also have adequate knowledge of Sanskrit, then discuss based on that. See, Prabhupada did not come to freeze the Bhagavad Gita. He himself wanted to write other commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita. What to speak of having other commentaries written by others? Prabhupada did not want that. It's not that Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, as it is a remarkable work of scholarship and devotion, and it has no substitute. But it does not mean that that there are no more works to be done on the Bhagavad Gita, and the Bhagavad Gita cannot be studied from alternative perspectives. Prabhupada himself, he gave one translation of the verse while translating his books. But then often when he would quote the verses, he would translate them in different ways. So the translation can be done in different ways, and when it is done in different ways, as long as it is in harmony with the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita and the Siddhanta of the Bhagavad Gita, that is fine. So this is the adjustment according to time, place, circumstance, which can be done, but it has to be done carefully so that the adjustment becomes a means by which people come closer to Krishna. When we build a bridge, the purpose of, say, Prabhupada's message is like one mountain, and people with their own conceptions are like another mountain. So you want to build a bridge by which they can come to the understanding of the Bhagavad Gita and the Vedic philosophy as is given by Srila Prabhupada. So we want to build a bridge. But when we build a bridge, we can't necessarily always guarantee that the bridge will be one way. That people will come from there to here. We may also end up going from here to there. So it shouldn't happen. We have to be careful. We have to be rooted in the Siddhanta properly by our study, by which we will ensure that we come closer to Krishna, and not that we go closer. We help others to come closer to Krishna, and not that we go away from Krishna in the effort of trying to reach out to people. So that if we take due caution, then adjustment according to time, place, circumstance can be done. Thank you. Hare Krishna.